It's Tuesday, and I assume you're watching this while sitting on the... What's going on, everyone? Welcome back to another Scale News Update. If you're not familiar with the show, this is where we talk about the news topics that happened in the scale world of RC over the past week. If you enjoyed the Scale News Update, hit the like button. Let's jump into all this week's topics. First for this week, Reefs RC just posted up that they've got a variable winch mount coming in for the Vanquish VRD platform. Now, this is an CNC'd aluminum front winch mounting plate that goes up and will clear whether you're running the stock servo on axle or if you're running a stubby kit. Now, this is made to fit a standard style servo with an external drum, a standard style servo winch with an internal spool, or one of the micro, like the Micro 99, and you can put it up front. It's made to fit those in a number of different configurations. One thing I didn't see is if this could possibly be flipped upside down and ran with the servo mount even lower in the case that you are running a stubby kit, which I'm guessing it may, which would help get everything just even lower yet. But this is going to be coming out at the beginning of next month. So if you're interested in picking up a servo mount, this one's going to be available and price is going to be super reasonable, under 40 bucks. Next, Cross RC posted up a new teaser of another 6x6 they have coming out. I think that they have more 6x6 style trail rigs than anybody else, because I think the max anyone else has is 1. This is labeled as a 1/8 scale, so this is likely their 2.2 size, like the emo Jeep style one that they had, which was 2.2s and such. So it's going to be like that. I believe that this is kind of like Ford OBS style. Getting that right. Flatbed on the back. You know, the flatbed is kind of large, being that it is a 6x6, but doesn't quite look big enough to be like a towed vehicle, like to be able to put a truck on the back, unless just being 2.2 makes it a little deceiving, and a 1.9 truck could fit back there without a problem. It doesn't appear that the full details for this are out yet. I actually saw the teaser initially posted on the Cross RC US page, which isn't officially a Cross RC, like it's not handled by Cross, it's handled by a US shop that distributes them. And it had like a weird tone of like, I don't even know I can't get parts for the regular, or I can't get my order of the regular trucks, but now they're teasing this and they don't have any info for it. It had a real weird tone to it, which was funny and interesting in its own way. No great information on it, just some video of everything running. It does have, some functions and features like locking and unlocking differentials and a 2-speed. So if you like flipping switches, it'll have some. More information, I'm sure, will come before too long, as well as pricing and all the rest. So hang out if you're trying to find out more about it. And then next, the FAA is coming for you, or your planes at least. If you remember, we've talked about it several times in the past that the FAA had instituted or passed the remote ID law, which states that you're not allowed to fly an RC plane without remote ID unless you fall under certain, conditions or circumstances, like you're flying at a FRIA, which is basically an FAA identified, free airspace for RC vehicles. And what remote ID is a little transmitter that has to go in your plane and is registered to you, and it broadcasts your position and what your plane is and some stuff like that. Now, up until the 15th, so a few days ago, depending on when you're watching this, it's been under a discretionary period. But now that's over and it's game on to the letter of the law. So what the statement from the FAA says is that the FAA ended its discretionary enforcement policy for remote ID on March 15th, 2024, and all relevant unmanned aircraft systems operators must now comply with the rule. The rule requires drones to comply with 3 ways. Now they say drones, but that means planes, multi-rotor, standard helicopter, everything. So the 3 ways to comply are: operate with built-in remote ID, operate with remote ID broadcast module attached separately, or operate under a FAA recognized identification area. And that's what FRIA means. If you're caught not being in compliance, it says that you could face a $27,500 fine. Who are the people that are going to be enforcing that? It's a great question. Your local police are likely going to have no interest in enforcing this. And you don't see a lot of FAA police just driving around patrolling for punks in the park. This passed in 2021 and is finally coming to fruition now. It will be very interesting to see if anything happens or if they just wrote rules to have rules to see if there is a time when they can enforce them. What it is going to do though is force manufacturers that are making ready to fly aircrafts build this tech in, which is going to raise the costs, which is going to make it less easy for people to get into the hobby. And that, I think, is the biggest takeaway and the biggest bummer to the whole thing. What are your thoughts on it? Even if it doesn't affect you, you don't have a plane, you have no interest in flying, but what are your thoughts on what it means for the hobby? For those of you that are owners of the Vanquish F10 portal axles, the rear aluminum portal caps are now available also in aluminum. They were previously offered in brass if you wanted to upgrade or add some weight, but there wasn't any that were just the same finish as if you wanted to add aluminum axle housings. So now you can get that and have a consistent look from end to end, even if you don't want to add any weight. So if you're interested in those are available in clear anodized aluminum and black anodized aluminum, and they're in stock now. Proline put out a big teaser with a Toyota body for the Axial SCX6 Honcho version. This, from what you can see, a little bit of the door, that rear extended cab, drop down window, and the bed section. You can tell that this is for the Axial SCX6 and clearly Toyota. I'm sure that this will be a popular option. I think that there's some people out there that still like Toyotas, and I'm sure that all of them will be trying to add the Raptor lights to the grille. Furitek just dropped a system that's marketed directly at the new Redcat Ascent 18 owners. This is a brushless motor and ESC combo, or a brushless motor and ESC plus a receiver, as the stock system is a 2-in-1. So since you're replacing the ESC, you also need to replace the receiver. And this time they did it in an interesting way. The receiver that they're including is directly compatible with the stock radios. So you only have to pay $10 extra for the receiver, and it'll work with the radio that already came with the truck. That is a nice thing about having a popular protocol used in the system. Kind of a bonus there. So it is $150 or $160 depending on which of those two combos that you get. So it's a big dollar upgrade for a $99 truck, but that's how these things go, especially small scale. The price of the stock vehicle is almost negligible towards the end result of where these things often end up. Traxxas last week came out with a new boat, and we don't cover boats very often, but this boat itself looks pretty good. It's a Spartan, brushless, self-riding boat. Checks all the boxes of cool things for boats. But I think the part that was more interesting is that they released separately a trailer for this boat that can be towed around by your other RC truck. Now, in the promos and the photos that they used, they were actually towing it with a slash 4x4, which surprised me that they weren't using a TRX4 of some sort. But regardless, full trailer that looks perfectly appropriate with that boat sitting on top. And overall, that's a cool little touch. A lot of people like trailers. They like towing it around. They like the idea of backing their boat in and out of the water. In functional practice, not exactly a simple or reasonable task. It can be a little bit of a pain. But nonetheless, people are going to love driving that thing around, even if that rudder in the back is sitting awfully close to some terrain at times. I've been doing a decent amount of RC boating myself lately, and a new self-riding option like that has got me tempted. Next, another new one from Redcat. Now, this is not typical scale option. This is a 1/5 scale basher. So not something we even normally cover. There's been a number of basher releases lately, and I usually just kind of go over them. And this one isn't even all that scale, but it is kind of interesting just because it does have a, Chevy square body look, and it's got a wheel and tire package on it that it feels like just is trying to speak to their lowrider customers, if I was to try and draw a parallel. Now, the cost on this for a 1/5 scale basher, or, however you want to scale these out, a lot of times they're not really put a scale to them exactly. But if you're comparing it to other options that are, comparable in size, power, things like that, then this does appear to be competitively priced. It's got a great big brushless hobby wing system in it, so a fairly decent electronics package. It's capable of big power. Now, whether or not long-term reliability will be there for this, that's yet to be determined. I know that there are some review videos of these out already, but that's not going to be long-term, of course. So it's going to be interesting to see how this does. Redcat has had a lot of releases this year. They're on quite the roll lately. And there was a leak of another one that they've got coming out, or another version of one that's coming out soon. Looks like some marketing material got slipped in with some of these current orders, I think, for the Ascent 18. So I think that we're going to see that just around the corner as well. Then we got the release from Biddy Designs. Last week we talked about the tees that they had coming. I thought it looked Lexus-like, and it is Lexus-like. It's a RC drag body called the EKANUS? I don't know how you're supposed to say this exactly. I wondered if it was a word in a foreign language that I wasn't aware of, so I tried Googling it. Biddy Designs is an Italian company, and nothing I can see lends to Italian for this. I don't know. I don't know what it's supposed to mean, other than it does appear to be a play on the full-size race team EKANU. I don't know how you're supposed to say that one either, but they're the ones who built some very fast drag cars of Lexus body style in the past. One of them that went airborne and, you know, went off the side of the drag strip, a super viral video I'm sure that you've probably seen. But they also built some very fast cars that stayed on the ground as well. The only thing I can think of where the name came from, but interesting name choice. Also, if you're interested in the Rock 1, the crawler body that Biddy Designs came out with, those are in stock now at A-Main. So if you want to get them stateside, they're in stock. And after you're done with the scale news update, you can go check out the video that I posted from this weekend. Another weekend full of RC. Had some 110 scale comping, some 124 scale comping, and working on a new project that I hope turns into another build along, where I share the files I create with people who are involved with the build along, and we, you know, share ideas and progress things back and forth as that project goes. So hoping to make a little bit of progress on that, to launch that here within the month is my hope. But if you're interested, watch out more for that. But go watch the video and you can see exactly what we're talking about. And then of course, Wednesday, 6 p.m. Pacific, 9 p.m. Eastern, a Livestream Takeover. We're in season 5 now, our 5th year we're kicking on. So come join us for that. Lots has happened over the past week, so should be some good combo. But that does it for this week's news topics. For this week's question, every week I go through like 180 some websites trying to find what news has been released from what companies. And every week I run across a number of sites that are RC companies that are alive, producing parts, selling parts, but haven't made a new product in a super long time. You just don't know anything other than they just order and fulfill. There's nothing going on in the background of these companies. At least it appears from the outside. I can go through and just tell. I go, nope, nothing. It makes, you know, combing news sites easier, but it also can surprise you at times. So be interested to hear, what companies can you guys think of that are functioning RC companies, but just seem almost dormant? One that I run across in the news tabs every week is Pitbull. Last time we saw anything new from Pitbull tires has been a really long time, but I believe they're still making tires. Which ones can you guys think of? Drop them in the comments below. You know, I love reading your comments. My favorite part of the Scale News update. But with that, as always, thanks for watching. If you enjoyed it, hit the like button. Subscribe if you're not already. Hit the notification bell so you see the videos as soon as they get uploaded. Thanks again for watching. We'll see you on the next one. That was my second time recording that last half of the video. The memory card on my audio stream filled up, and I didn't notice until after I finished the video. Super annoying. I was, of course, calm and collected when I noticed, though. Anyways, thanks again for watching, and we'll see you on the next one. No!